Hello everyone, and good day to you, or good evening, depending on when you're seeing this video. This is Roger with Groovis Games Unlimited, and let me just say happy holidays to everyone. I hope you're doing great and you're looking forward to Christmas, which is not that far away. Looking forward to New Year's, or maybe you're seeing this afterward. So if you're seeing this afterward, from the heart, I hope that you had a great Christmas, and I wish you the very best in the new year. It is nice to be back with you. As always, I really appreciate your time, and I want to get right into this one, but give you, of course, a few updates. In this video, I've been wanting to do this for a while, and this is going to be strictly dedicated to all the changes and the revisions that have went on with Dungeon Crusade, because I think, quite frankly, I think there's a lot of people who don't know all of the work we put into the game. So that's what this is about. But let me just say this real quick. As you know, I am in constant contact with our amazing production engineer over at the manufacturer, Wingo Games. She is conversing with the engineers, and we're getting ready. We're on the cusp of getting ready to print the game. And finally, yes guys, it took a while. Just real quick to give you a recap, maybe you were just seeing this. They have had all the game files since over the summer of 2022. We had to wait in a line in a queue for all of the other projects and games that they were working on. We just couldn't jump in line and say, hey, we need this printed. So yeah, it's only a reprint. However, like in this video, I created more content. We worked on a new rule book. I'll save all that. But my point is, I just want to let you know it's looking like an early 2023 shipping date. If I had to say, probably March. I give you all the update information. I'll be learning a lot more as we work with our fulfillment service and of course the manufacturer. Early April, but I'm gonna say probably March, because everything is definitely getting ready to print. So that's very good news. So I just wanted to touch base with you on that. So let me shift the camera a little bit and let me just tell you from the heart exactly why I wanted to make this video and a few other things. So let me start with this. I think most of you who know me knows I'm an incredibly passionate creator. I have said many times that fans of the game, backers of the game, you are truly like extended family to me. I always want to feel like you're connected with me in this game because I listen to you. I listen to the community, and to me, to be a passionate creator and to learn and become better, listen to your fans, listen to your community. What do you want? What could we do for you, right? At least that's what my way of thinking. So anyway, the game shipped out and there were some issues with the game. And there was no way in God's green earth I was gonna sweep it under the rug, like, yeah, oh well, no. I listened, I surrounded myself with some good people, and we got to work to correct what the fans of the game and the community saw. Like, what did they want? Like, it basically means, what do you want, guys? What could we do for you to make you happy? I want you to have the best experience with this game. I have to mention my very good friend Ilpo from Finland. He's just absolutely brilliant. We worked on the revised rulebook for Dungeon Crusade. There's a link for it below. Let me move the camera again and let me kind of sum it up with this before we get into the rest of what this video is going to be, which I think you're going to enjoy. Okay, continuing what I said, the rulebook. Some people like the original rulebook, and I was super passionate about writing that, guys, and you could probably see it if you look through it, but it was long because I wanted to make sure I explained everything. I over-explained things for you, showed diagrams. So I really did that from the heart. There were some people that said, hey, could we have a slimmer rulebook? Just real quick to the point, Roger. We love you, but we want it to the point. Absolutely. You know what? I learned from that. I listened to you. Again, download the new revised rulebook. Justin over at Board Game Losers gave it an excellent review. Daniel from the Dungeon Dive. Julius over on his channel, the amazing Julius Green, he had a lot of nice things to say about everyone who's downloaded it. It was a massive, massive improvement. And thank you for that. Again, Ilpo, my very good and dear friend, was pretty much the editor. If you saw the original rulebook and you look at the revised one, you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you see how nicely this came out. Everything was addressed in that rulebook, okay? A few other things. For your level 1 and level 2 heroes, some people were like, hey Roger, you know what? These events and challenges in the encounter deck, there's the encounter card. Some of the trap treasure chests in the treasure chest deck and some of the traps and a few other things were very tough. For your level 1, level 2 heroes, I got to work. There's now a scalable difficulty reference card. That was something small, guys, but it made a huge difference in the game. It just made it more enjoyable and a better, smoother experience. There's some other things too, the solo crusader mode, the revised combat system, but in what you're about to see, we're going to switch formats. I want to go over each and everything, the new mercenary camp, and I think you're really going to enjoy what you see and see why I always say the game has been perfected and honed. And from the heart, seriously, I sleep better at night. I feel very pleased and content and happy with where Dungeon Crusade is now, okay? So we're going to switch formats. We're going to go over all of those things that we worked on to give you the best experience with Dungeon Crusade. And so take a look at this and I'll come back and we'll wrap it up. I hope you enjoy this. Okay, and let's just start with going over everything with what has been added to the game, the revisions, and then we'll get into everything in detail. So starting off, like I've said, there's a newly revised rulebook, which is much slimmer and to the point. There's the new solo crusader mode that you can select one hero, but there's also the new mercenary camp in the village where you can hire up to 2 mercenaries. Next, the classic combat system, of course, is still in the game, but then there's the newly revised combat system, which is a much more quicker combat system you could use. There's a new scalable difficulty reference card to help out your level 1 and level 2 heroes. The game time has been reduced a little bit, and it offers a quicker game, easier and quicker setup time. The new Minion movement speed track, plus there was a few other tweaks and balances that we'll get into, but as you can see right there, that's mainly what was added, and there was some new content that we'll go over. So without further ado, let's start off with talking first and foremost about the rulebook, and I think you're going to be very happy if you've not seen this yet, so let's discuss that next. And this is the revised rulebook right here in PDF format. Now there were some white blocks. I think that was just from me loading it up. So just know if you see white blocks, it's not in the actual rulebook. It was just loading. But I think it's fully loaded now. And again, there's a link for you to check this out. So we'll just go over this real quick. Again, if you've not seen this yet, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised what me and of course the awesome Ilpo did. He was the editor on this, and there were some tech writers that helped out, and just, again, I'm very happy that we have this out there. And you know what I want to say before we get into this? Remember that if you are an owner of the game already, there is a Crusader upgrade pack in the Pledge Manager, and so if you have that, you can get the Crusader upgrade pack that gets you this new revised rulebook and all the new content and a few fixes with some cards. So let's get on with this here. This is, of course, the cover. And there's the heroes in the game thus far. The new table of contents. I did all the graphic design on it, so I hope that you like this. I love doing graphic design, and I just think the new rulebook, I love it. This is something big that was added. Some of the various tokens, cards, boards, and other content. And I worked very closely with Ilpo, so if you want to say, hey, what the heck is the war banner? Well, there's a picture right here for you, or damage tokens, so you're covered with that, so you know where everything is at. And this was newly added to the revised rulebook, and again, from hearing from the community and fans, so thank you. Truly, I love you guys, and I'm glad that people said, hey, we want this, and there you have it. This is the recommended setup, and this is something I work very closely with Ilpo on. This is another reason why setup is a lot quicker. You can just look at this, and this is the Roger-fied version of how to set up Dungeon Crusade, but of course you can set it up any way you like. But I know this page in particular has helped a lot of people out. So that's new to the revised rulebook. This is all the huge thank yous to everyone here that's in there, and to my mom right here. A nice message to her. Thank you, Mom, for everything. And here is the Dungeon Crusade universe, what comes in the 2 new editions of the game. And then this page got kind of redone. These are all the new features and revisions. So if you open it up, when you start reading it, you can see everything that, well, what we're discussing here. It was very important right at the outset that I tell people, hey, here's what you can expect now in Dungeon Crusade. Starting off, this is something that was massively changed, was we put the Avalon Adventure board game rule set right at the start of the rule book, because like I said, and if you can read that there, it is optional to play this. You don't have to, but you know, for all the world building I did with the lore, you play this, you know, choose your own adventure game, and it kind of just gets you in the mood, and you know, just before you play Dungeon Crusade. So we wanted to move this to the front. Again, you don't have to. I would like you to play it. I wrote a lot from the story of Dungeon Crusade in this. So keep moving. So here's your rules set for Avalon, only but a few pages there. Very, very easy game. If you watch one of the great playthroughs that some of these YouTubers did, really guys, you don't even have to read this or just glance at it. The playthroughs will tell you exactly how to play this. And then starting off with Dungeon Crusade, this is something, from here on out, this is where me and Ilpo worked very closely together. And again, Ilpo, I love you. If you're watching this, you're just brilliant. Learned a lot from you. And let me say also, with all the other games I'm working on now, Ilpo, of course, is going to be in on it. Of course, Daniel from the Dungeon Dive, but you can expect much smaller rule books like you're seeing here. So no more big rule books anymore, to the point and quick. And then right here, how to play and how to set up everything. Very nicely detailed. And it's moving along. Now this, I'm just going to keep going, but this is the rules how to play Dungeon Crusade right here. And guys, it's not, I think it's only 12 or 14 pages. It's a very easy game. So don't be, if you're new and looking at this like, whoa, this game is too complex. Guys, I don't like complex stuff. It's huge, easy game mechanics. This is a really nice chart that Ilpo came up with that tells you exactly everything you can do on your turn and the free actions. So this couple of pages here tell you everything you can do that cost an action and what are free actions. And, you know, not being glowy, but Dungeon Crusade was the first open world dungeon crawl board game. So giving players that freedom, you know, to move around anywhere in the dungeon, you know, we had to have a good way to detail everything out, and this flow chart here just worked so perfectly for that. Please don't, when you look at it and, you know, at the top here, it all makes sense. It's not complex at all. Then it just, like the whole first part here is going over the phases of the game, celebration day, the combat. Now this goes over how to combat minions. As you know, there's the classic combat system and the revised combat. We're going to be talking about that more. But with this, we talk about how to combat minions, because you combat minions the same way whether you're playing the classic combat mode or the revised combat. So we talk about that first, and then it goes into the classic combat system and the revised combat, and there's those white blocks I was talking about. And so that's already finished up. As I said, guys, this is a lot quicker than what it was. And then we're going to get into what's that, inflicting damage. And then here's some of the changes that, you know, that are in the game with the scalable difficulty reference card. We're going to be talking more about that. The Minion movement speed track, how to accomplish a quest, real quick and to the point. Movement describes exactly how to move. Real nice little section about that. Unrevealed monster tokens, rallied heroes. So I hope you're enjoying taking a quick glance at this room, but please download it and enjoy looking it over. All the loot in the game, we just put that on one page here for you. And if you remember mining and crafting, I was very, very detailed in the original rulebook. Now I put this all together and it's just one page now, and it covers everything for you. And dungeon board details, and you know what, that's it. From what we looked at, that was the whole Dungeon Crusade rulebook. So a lot of nice pictures, diagrams, not that much text, a lot less than what it was. So I hope you like looking at that. Next, we're just going to briefly talk about the Tomb of Kaladar. And you can read a little story about who Alistair Kaladar was. And this is the ultimate death trap dungeon, guys. And I love deadly dungeons. So this is the 4th dungeon in the game. And there is a couple things you have to do differently with this. There's environmental hazards I created. So this just talks about that. One page, that's it, and then you know that. And then this was the big thing that was added to the game, is the Solo Crusader mode. And this was requested by so many people. And let me just, before I forget, once we get everything done and this game is shipping out, I've been working on 2 new game modes for Dungeon Crusade, a random dungeon generator, and then there's this new mode coming called Quest Challenges, and I'm going to be working with Daniel from the Dungeon Dive on this. He's got a lot of great ideas, so we're going to be collaborating. Of course, Ilpo and a few others. But what this is going to be is quests that are 45 minutes, no longer than 2 hours. And so, you know, with the random dungeon generator, the Quest Challenges mode, Solo Crusader, you know, I think Dungeon Crusade encompasses everything that you'd want to do in a dungeon crawl game. And again, I'm just happy when those 2 things are in place. I'll even be more happier. So this is only, I think, 4 pages, guys. It's not a lot at all. It's very easy. It's a much quicker paced game. You know, you can select one hero with your fetch hound Albus, and then there's the new mercenary camp right here where you can hire up to 2 mercenaries. And this mode was very well received. And yes, you can play the Avalon Adventure board game before playing the Solo Crusader mode. And just real quick, in a nutshell, you're basically going to have 5 henchmen heroes who will accompany you. Because when I designed the Avalon Adventure board game, it was designed for 6 heroes. So you'll have your hero, and then you can randomly select 5 henchmen heroes to go out with you. If you've ever played Guild Wars, the MMORPG, oh my god, did I go crazy on Guild Wars. You had henchmen in there, so kind of think of it in that regard. And that about covers that for the Solo Crusader mode. So yeah, only 4 pages of rules, and I think you'll really enjoy that. I know a lot of people have played it and have enjoyed it. If that isn't enough, already you can see there's so much in this game, and just how nicely this rulebook came out with detailing and explaining everything. We moved all the House of Chance games to the back. As you know, if you got the Slayer of the Realm edition, or there is an add-on just for those 3 extra House of Chance games. Tower Attack comes standard in all editions. You could pick up the add-on that has the other 3 House of Chance games, Heroes vs. Monsters, Skulljack, and the Adventures of Bravely the Knight. But towards the back of the rulebook, you can find all the rules for the House of Chance games. These aren't, you know, very hard games at all. And actually, our next video, excuse me, that's what I'm kind of delayed with. I apologize with, you know, the holidays and being busy. We are going to talk about, I'm going to kind of roll Celebration Day into that at the start. We're going to talk about what is Celebration Day in Dungeon Crusade, and then how the heroes can enter into the House of Chance and play one, not all 4 guys, one randomly selected House of Chance game. And I say that because there was a huge misconception before, the thinking that you played all 4 House of Chance games. No, you don't ever do that. That would break the game. The heroes would be swimming in gold. You randomly select one with a D4 roll, or you could just select one on your own. So we'll be covering that. We'll be playing each of those. That will be the next showcase video. And the very last one here is the Adventures of Bravely the Knight. It's a mini dungeon crawl board game. And I'm going to talk about it more in the video, but this was... I wanted to cross a death trap dungeon with an 80s arcade machine and, I don't know, like 80s, 70s, 80s kind of like retro flair to it. And so I created this hero named Bravely, and Damien Mimolity helped like paint everything. I gave him the prototype, and I told him I wanted these games to look like they were pulled from a closet from like 1978 or 1979, like very retro, but a modern look to them, and it's just amazing with what this. All the artists are amazing, but these games really look awesome. So there is a little bit of that, and then at the end of the rule book, we have some game variants and rule clarifications where you can, play with the additional difficulty decks. There's 2 variants for that. There's these things called cold villagers, friendly villagers. This is after you start the Avalon Adventure board game, or when you're importing them in, new ways to play with that. There's an unknown guardian level you can play. So there's some new stuff for you there. And then lastly, we would close out the rule book with these nice pages here for each of the 4 dungeons. And what this does, it tells you where all the treasure chest tokens go, the mining sites are, and the trap symbols. And this really helped players out with setting up the game. So again, quicker setup in regards to like what this does, or what it does with having these at the back. They're very, very handy. And I said it before, start with the ancient runes. That's kind of like the default dungeon, to learn the game. And so there you go with that. And then Castle Blackwood, the Cavern of Lost Souls. And just so you know that the Castle Blackwood and Cavern of Lost Souls, that is an expansion dungeon pack. There's an add-on for that. But if you have the Slayer of the Realm edition, you are getting every single add-on, big add-on in your box. So just over that. And we're going to close out with this very handsome and huge index that you can find anything with. And Ilpo and me worked on this. So guys, anything you want to know, right here, and that will take you right to it. Very happy with that index. And lastly, this will be the back page of the rule book. There's a nice map of Avalon. But do remember, it's something I wanted to give you guys before, and we just couldn't do it. You're going to have a huge map of Avalon in your Crusader upgrade pack, and of course in the 2 new editions of the game. So I just wanted to give that huge poster out of Avalon, so you will have that. Okay guys, so that is about the revised rulebook, and now let's get into some more details on Dungeon Crusade. But I hope you like taking a look at this. Make sure to download it and check it out. It's the solo Crusader mode and some of the new content in the game. So I just wanted to put this up to show you, and for me as a reminder, I think I have everything loaded. So first off, besides the revised rulebook, there is the brand new Solo Crusader mode. And a lot of you probably already know what this is, but maybe we're having some people who are interested in the game, or even, returning Crusaders who are going to be picking up the Crusader upgrade pack. And what this is there was probably one of the biggest requests was for a game mode where you can select one hero. And so I got to work a while back and created the Solo Crusader mode. And I have to say, really, it was an inspiration from like Diablo 2. And as in Diablo 2, if you've ever played it, and if you have not played that game, go buy the Diablo 2 Resurrected Remastered Edition. You will absolutely love it. But in regards to Solo Crusader, excuse me, you select one hero, and of course you have your fetch hound Albus, and then you go complete your quests as a solo hero. And like I've said many times, the big pro tip is you have to be versed, you really need to be versed in all of the 6 different warfare types, because you're going in solo. However, with the Solo Crusader mode, and here's another promo poster, there is the new mercenary camp in the village. And what this is it's exclusive for Solo Crusader. Although, you could probably you guys mod the game and, come up with variants. You could use this if you're just playing Dungeon Crusade. And what this is kind of like a tip of the hat to Diablo 2. You can hire up to 2 mercenaries to join your hero. So you could either have 1 or 2. And this is basically, actually there's the little hero board right there. And this sits next to your village board. But it just makes it a little bit easier. And the Solo Crusader mode offers a much, much, much quicker game experience. I won't get into all the details, but you know what? Was it last Christmas? I think it was last holiday. I did a playthrough of Solo Crusader mode, and you can see it in action, and it's just much more peppy and more sped up, and I don't know. Everyone seems to love it. I love it. I prefer the classic way, but if you want a quick way and playing Solo Crusader mode is for you. So there's a little bit about that, and really we're going to be chatting about this in a minute. Is the revised combat system goes with the Solo Crusader mode. It's you can use the classic system, but I highly, highly, highly recommend to use the revised combat system while playing the Solo Crusader mode. So there is a look at the mercenary camp that goes with that. Next up, this was such a small thing, guys, but man, I have to tell you, the scalable difficulty reference card, and this is just an old promo poster, this was one of the biggest balances and tweaks and fixed so many issues in the game. So let me explain what this is. And remember, there's a link in the description and the comment. You can download all the stuff right now if you want to start using it. So check for the links. But what this is you can see there's a picture here on the front of this card, and this is all this is in the Crusader upgrade pack, and of course in the new editions. But the scalable difficulty reference card brought a lot of balance to the game. For example, this applies to the trap system, the trapped treasure chests in the treasure chest deck, and in the encounter deck right here, the challenges and the events. And what this is let me try to, oh, that was just another one to show you the reverse, but there's what the card looks like, a big zoomed in version of it. But here's the reverse side. And what this does is there's values printed on these cards, like right here, if I can make that out, it's like an 18, I believe, or 15 right here. Well, what this card does is it allows your level 1 hero to deduct 6 from the value printed on any of those cards. So what it does is it makes the game much more easy and just a better experience overall. If your level 2 hero encounters one of those things, you can deduct 3 from that card. And then if your heroes are level 3, you can't deduct anything. So my point is, from what I just described, there were some players that were having a lot of trouble with when their heroes were level 1 and level 2 with some of this content right here. And it just, again, it was something small, but it brought a huge balance and tweak to all of this stuff in the game. And it's just more enjoyable. And of course, that is my goal. I want you guys to have fun and, a fun experience with this. So this little card had a huge impact on the game. So remember, if you have the game already, go ahead. There's the link. Download it. Check it out. So that's a little bit about that, the scalable difficulty reference card. And this we talked about before. We'll touch on this briefly. I love the classic combat system, and like this poster here says, it's it's challenging, it's in depth, but it's a longer game time, which I don't mind. But now there was a lot of players that said, hey, can we have some quick dice rolls? And I love that kind of stuff. Absolutely. Again, I want people to have the best experience possible with the game. So we now have the revised combat system. And I would recommend playing, your first few games with the revised combat system. It's more faster paced, it's action oriented, and it's just quicker game time in general. So, what I like is now you can select between the two. But if you're starting out or you want even a quicker game, go ahead and select the revised combat. But there's still, some strategy and tactics that you have to use when you're using the revised combat. So it's not like just throw the dice and that's it. There's special abilities and other things to consider. And what I did was I put the evolved minions here in the middle. And like I've said so many times, it doesn't matter if you choose the classic combat system or the revised combat system. I went back to work, and you combat minions now in a much quicker fashion than it was before. The new way, guys, is so much better. It's just more thematic. You know, the minions will now select one of the 3 warfare types to combat your hero in, and it just brought, just, I don't know, like, I guess it just perfected and honed the game even more with how you combat minions, and I love it. So this is what you can expect now in Dungeon Crusade: 2 different combats, and the way you combat minions is just been really tweaked and overhauled, and it's better. But go ahead, if you download the guide, the revised rulebook, take a look at that. I list everything in there for you. Next up is the minion movement speed track. And there's 2 ways it explains again in the rulebook how to use this, and we'll show it on the Dungeon UI board. So there it is up here in the corner, right here. And what this does is it gives the minions an unpredictable speed if you want to use this. You know, you could use the value printed on their card, but at the top of the monster phase, you could either roll one of the dice here, a D3, D4, D6, for what die they're going to use for their movement. You know, whatever the result is, say it's 5, they're going to use a D10, which will be very quick. They're going to be moving very fast. So you could have all the minions just use that die, or if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, you could have each minion roll on this chart, and they could have variable speeds. And that, it seems like most people just, you know, roll a die at the beginning of the monster phase, and 3 comes up on a D6. Okay, well, they're going to be using a D6, which is the standard way. But it just gives, again, more options for you, new ways to play the game. So that was something new that we added, is the minion movement speed track. Again, I hope you're enjoying seeing all the changes and revisions. Hopefully, I think this video does a good job on all the work we put into this, and just to give you the best experience possible with the game. Okay, and moving along, and again, that's ready for download. You can download that now, and this will be in your Crusader upgrade pack, and of course in the new editions. And then moving on to this is an old promo poster. There's tavern tasks in the game. There were 6 in the game. These are randomly drawn when you start up. You just, you know, shuffle the small deck of 6 cards, pull one at random. That's your tavern task. And these are just optional quests. You don't have to do these. It's just there if you want some extra, you know, gold or whatever that this character is going to offer you. And these are some of the characters from the story of Dungeon Crusade I wrote. But I'm happy to say that, and really Daniel from the Dungeon Dive, he was someone who said this and inspired me to create this. This is a brand new, the 7th tavern task, and this is Captain Briggs, the leader of the Avalon Valiant Army, and this one is called The Trouble with Traps. Please note, traps must be enabled. And the little story is, as the heroes are exiting the blacksmith shop, they are met by Captain Briggs. He explains that he would like to aid the heroes by sending a few of his men into the dungeon. However, they are not expert at disarming traps. So the task is, Captain Briggs is asking the heroes to disarm or spring traps throughout the dungeon to clear the way for his men. Reward: the heroes will receive 100 gold and 2 life force for every trap they disarm or spring to a maximum of 10. So right here is a little note: 2 life force and 100 gold. And it was Daniel, like a while back, he said that it would be cool to have some incentive for springing traps. I thought that was a great idea, and again, just he's part of the community, a fan of the game, and you know, I made that happen. We put it in the game, and so you can look forward to doing this tavern task. And I just want to say, if you don't want to randomly select one, you know, you could of course just go through and pick one that you would like to do. So there's always that option, guys. Do what you want, but that's something new I created for the game, so you'll get another tavern task. And guys, I think besides, let's go back to this poster here that I just threw together for this thing. Actually, let's go over here to this. I hope you enjoyed seeing the changes and the revisions, definitely the revised rulebook for the game. There were some other things too, like in your Crusader upgrade pack, there's going to be some cards where the manufacturer had flip-flopped a few of the things. They apologized about it. They corrected everything. So there's only, I think there's like 4 cards in there. And there's the big map of Avalon. I should have had a map of Avalon. I apologize. But in your Crusader upgrade pack, you're going to get a huge map of Avalon. That's something I wanted to do before, like I said. And of course, in the new editions, you'll get those. You'll get that huge map also. So again, before we go back to the other format, you know, I will just always be eternally grateful to the people who believed in the game and believed in me and the team and Ilpo and all of us. And, you know, it was about making sure that this game was, everything was corrected. And I've said it so many times already, I honestly sleep better at night with where the game is at. And it really has been perfected and honed. And so as we go over this is just a promo poster. And I already have downloaded the final e-proofs, the templates that will be used for printing. I've been conversing with our production engineer at the manufacturers. They're going to be going on their Chinese New Year that's coming up, and that's actually early. But that's fine, because that's going to give us time to promote the game. And there were some people that said, hey, it's Christmas. Do you think you'll extend the pledge manager? Because there's people that wanting, you know, to pledge. And absolutely, I totally get that. So it's nice now that it will, you know, we can have a whole nother month. But please know, I put in February, the printing's going to be happening, guys. Everything is being set up. We have the final e-proofs. It will be closing, but you still have plenty of time, you know, to late pledge or get any of those add-ons that you like. And again, just thank you for everything, for your support and your love and your friendship. It really, truly, it means a lot to me, more than you'll ever know. So let's go back to the other format and we'll wrap this up. And remember, the next video is going to be over the House of Chance games and Celebration Day, and I think we're going to have an awesome time with that. So I'll see you back in the other format. And there you go, guys. I really hope you enjoyed seeing all of the things that are now in Dungeon Crusade, the tweaks, the balances, of course, again, the revised rulebook. I hope that you enjoyed that. And like I said, I love you guys. Fans of the game, you have no idea how eternally grateful I am for your support, and most of all, your friendship. And you know what else? Your feedback and your constructive criticism. I listened. And hopefully you can see it's the same game, but you know what? It's almost like, you know, you build like a really awesome race car, you take it out on the track, you got to tweak this, tweak that, do this, do that. It's exactly what we did, and I hope that you enjoy what you saw and what you learned about. And remember, I should have said this at the start, if you are an original owner of the game, just get yourself the Crusader upgrade pack. We kept that at the nice price of $20. That will get you all the new stuff and get your copy, you know, upgraded to this. So link for the pledge manager below. Yes, you can late pledge. We're going to be having the fair warnings go out. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think the pledge manager is definitely going to be closing now, I would say, at the end of January. And we haven't started promotions because we're waiting on our manufacturer. I don't want to put something out and, you know, it's not going to happen for another month or two. I don't want to do that to you guys. That's why I want concrete information, which we have now. This game is definitely being printed. They have been working hard on it. So just know the pledge manager will be open, but no rush again. Take your time, watch the channel, watch the Kickstarter page for all the updates. And I think that's about it. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. The next video is going to be an awesome one. I think it's going to be out maybe Christmas Eve night, maybe Friday night. We're going to play all the House of Chance games, and I'm going to, you know, teach you about those. Celebration Day. We're going to pretty much clear the dungeon, and it's just going to be a game fest within the House of Chance. So I think we're going to have an awesome time with that. What else? More updates coming as soon as I get them. So again, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it really enlightened you and showed you how much of a change there was with the game. Okay, and as always, if you have comments or maybe, you know, some kind of gameplay things, or maybe like a mod or variant you play, put it in the comments section. That's how some of these things are created, is you guys. And then we share it, put it in the game. Just more ways to enjoy Dungeon Crusade. Okay, guys, I hope you have a good one, and we'll fade out here on Dungeon Crusade and over on Frosty. Again, I hope you have an awesome Christmas and an awesome New Year, and I'll be talking to you very soon. Bye-bye.